Well, this is a blast from the past for this channel at this point. I had to put this series completely on hold because VPF was doing better and I wanted to capitalize on that momentum. I always had the intention of coming back here, of course. In accordance to the rules I was using in this playthrough, I can go up to very good funding this season, and because I have a 10% overdraw, I can actually sign a couple of these riders. I think I'd like to get my hands on Galliard and Bruno. I'd like to save him because he retires otherwise. I think it's time to say goodbye to Campbell. This is the last season I intend to record for the playthrough, but I do want to play as though I would be continuing on after this. And so setting up the team for long-term success would involve picking up a 12th potential rider. Bruno, on the other hand, is well suited to contest the Masters, whilst Herman Watson is going to try and win the Tour of Gazmere, and if we win that, that's probably the point where I'll end the series. But first, we've got ourselves the Desert Sprint, which, I'll be honest, I'm not fancying myself winning with Pavlov, so the Grand Slam challenge is going to be failed, at least on Pavlov's side. This is becoming a tricky stage finish because I've been looking at this breakaway for a while. They don't have much further to try across, but they weren't able to get over this mountain in one turn. They're pretty much out. Once we get to the foot, we're going to be super hard to the finish. This looked like a long enough climb to do something, but maybe not long enough. It is only 22 nodes to there, and pretty much anyone can make it to there. Which means that, provided we make the catch on the leading pair, which we're about to, it is going to come down to a sprint. So I've put both of my remaining riders that can do something in the relay instead. Jabal's got a reasonable pull left in him. The next few riders are kind of tired. I mean, Perez might be able to do something, but the next big rider would be Robin Keller, and I think out of those that have moved so far, he's in the best position. I think I put all of my riders on Keller's wheel. And also, in the event that Keller just decides to go over the top of Jabal, we can actually do even more momentum blocking, like so. Do this. Yeah, Pavlov takes the lead, and Ward also gets in, but that's only 6 points. I'm not sure this is going to be enough. We'll have to wait and see. No, we got, and in the end we fell to 7th. Some good sprinters across the board here, but no one outstanding like a Jonas Winter. They just played the game of chicken better than us, because Keller ended up going over the top as opposed to sprinting past Jabal. So first scout of the season, nothing particularly impressive, so I think, you know what, I'll shortlist Semenov. Don't need every single rider on any given team to be a superstar, because even on big money you can't afford all of them. Really, game? 2 teams went to the Arrow of Timor, an amateur event, but interestingly only 6 teams here. Problem is, Edgalskis is among them. I don't think we're beating this guy today. I think this is going to be a race for second, but having so few teams does give us a chance to pull off something of an upset. Though, looking at this race start, I have a whim to do something different. Let's just go into breakaway with Rouse. Perhaps the small field and the difficulty of this first half of the course allows us to build a big lead, which lets us try and win. Yeah, I think this breakaway's doomed because the AI doesn't seem to understand that Stephen Turner should not be trying to chase down Modar Badawi. I've also noticed that the peloton entity itself is about to run out. We may have to move up early and just take a flyer from here. Looks like I timed it right, despite the awkwardness of moving up in the cobble sector, because it's going to be splintering apart, and I think we just try and work with Ruggero. We might have a problem though. That's the favourites group chasing us down right now. Oh, and this is dangerous. The lead 2 have jumped us. We haven't even been able to merge up with Galliard. So now this could be a race for 3rd. In fact, this could be risky. I tempted Ruggero to attack, and he has, but He's actually not that far away from the finish line. It's coming up quicker than I anticipated, and this could be trouble now. Ilgaskias is going to take first, as expected, and we're going to fall barely short. If we'd gone with Ruggero, we might have had a chance here. Galliard was definitely the second strongest rider in the field. But sadly, we gave this guy an exit pass thinking that the last couple of turns were going to be a bit harsher than they were, and we're going to have to settle for fourth. Oh, I'm actually pretty impressed that Pavlov managed to limp to sixth after all of that. Because we still don't have and are unlikely to get level 11 on Pavlov because the last level is very slow to gain. And with that in mind, someone without a flat rating coming sixth in a flat event is actually pretty good, but no, that wasn't a good scout at all. We've got yet another very long race, and it's going to be interesting to see who actually ends up being our number one here, because Watson could do it on the final section, but Bruno is the one with the major fitness peak because I want Watson to save his best for the Gazmir Tour itself. This could end up just being a mass sprint, you know, because these climbs are pretty short, and I may have left it late with Watson. By the time I wanted to start moving up, the pack was moving so fast that I could not go up without burning attack points, and he just doesn't have enough. I think we got no choice but to take the hit anyway. He's going to go down to 12, and we can only hope he's got just enough to make it to the end. Yep, there it is. There's the attack, but Bruno can't follow it, and Watson would be maxed out. I think we just go with Rao to cover our bases, but we actually stay in the peloton. Hey look, Tyler Campbell made it onto Exo Velo bikes. The early break looks doomed to fail already. The peloton got within one tile, so it was good that we didn't panic. New problem, however, does anyone make it to the finish line? No, not quite, so I wasn't too late to make it into the relay either. And in fact, now this really works to our advantage, because we're just going to bridge across to Rao and... Actually, can Watson attack? Does it make sense for Watson to attack knowing we've got all of these riders behind that could still go after him? I think we should probably just... I think after all of that, this is going to be a win, because Watson's still got a decent move. We'll see if Bruno can slipstream, and Sanders and Keller out. Do we hold on? Looks like we're going to. We actually take a 1-2-4. Well, that race was dicey, but we ended up playing it perfectly without me ever feeling like I was completely in control of that. I picked up more levels than I thought because I knew Watson and Ward were going to pop, but Bruno's picked up 2 levels. We'll get to him later, but I'm putting this into recovery. I think I'm okay with having only 19 attack on Watson. Bruno, I think, should be more of an all-rounder, able to win a wider variety of races, and I think taking the downhill point now helps. Since we're not necessarily aiming to win tours with him, Watson's the main tour guy, we can actually go attack and then think about putting attack per turn. Yeah, I'll go energy with Rao. I could alternatively have gone attack and then attack per turn to try and really lean into the sprint, but now with Chris Ward, we could take the 3rd point in time trial. That makes him the ultimate time trialist on the flat. The -1 in technical could be more of an issue than I think, but I think I will actually take the point in mountain so he can be more useful as the main lieutenant of Watson. Oh, that's a... I mean, how useful a scout is that actually if he only has 6 energy per turn? I suppose I can put him on the shortlist anyway, but I don't think Simon Graff would actually make the cut in the end. Fresh off of his win in the Farinia Masters, Herman Watson's now going after the Giro Farinia. I think out of this lot, our main rival is going to be Herman Weiss, and he doesn't have the best energy and attack split, at least when compared to Watson. Still not as much attack as I would like in every single situation, but once he gets anything resembling a fitness peak, the problem largely goes away. We're at the important end of the stage, and one drawback is that I may have timed my to run to the front early because I wanted to be in P1 by the technical sector, but I probably shouldn't have bothered because it's not like the technical sector hurt anyone for still being at the back. There's not much point in me reordering this now though, because the next move is a 0 slipstreamer anyway, and we also have a 1 slipstreamer at the finish line. Oh, this makes the situation significantly worse because not even Watson can reach the front group, and that front group contains Weiss somehow despite him not having flat ability. I'm going to have to follow group 3 here because if we just stay with the peloton, we're not going to make it to the 5 node on the next turn, and that's going to cost us more time. I don't have to pull here. There are 2 Lannon Sports Academy riders here. They should be taking responsibility. To be fair, one of them was empty, but that was just my justification for leeching. Doing so on the final turn, however, is unnecessary because we're going over this -6, so we won't be giving any slipstream regardless. Nonetheless, it's Julian Auber taking the stage win. Herman Weiss is going to gain time on us, but we're going to come in same time as Moritz Weber. And we were credited as having finished fractionally ahead, so 4th place and only 0.08 of a turn down. Stephen Turner already out on stage 1. We're following that up with what is effectively a recovery day with the exception of the first and last moves, and even this first move isn't that bad. Oh, by the way, I'm keeping Pavlov in the GC for now. He is 9th after stage 1. Opted to take the risk with Watson that it would slow down just enough that he could move forward later without spending 2 attack points. That has paid off, as now we'll only need the 1 and will be the last rider to act. Pavlov can still be our rider to contest the stage win with. Well, that is unless Auber makes a thermonuclear attack that I have no way of following. And we'll have to see if Watson can. Oh, he can! It's a max out move, but he has to go for it. And much like last stage, I don't think this is going to be a finish that creates slipstream, so you'd rather be at the front if you want to try and go for the stage win. But regardless of whether or not we take the stage here, Herman Weiss is out of attack. So we're going to gain time on this finish. Maybe not as much as we would like because we were already pretty close to the line. And our gain to Weiss was only 0.03, so status quo in the GC, though this could change things a lot because we've recovered to full attack and Weiss will not have. He only has 15. Oh, we've ended up in the same position as last time where the peloton's just made a big move. I don't feel like I can go up yet. It ended up being a non-issue because we just moved to here. We didn't try to jump across into the mountain immediately. And that means I will at least be able to get to P2 without issue. Question is, do we think there's still enough turns left in this climb? Oh, it's 81 tiles out. I think at some point we might get an opening. Or maybe not, but that extra turn in P2 may still help us. And I don't think it makes sense for anyone to attack right now. They did not. And in fact, Weiss has gone relay. That's dumb. Oh, it gets even better. This is the attack that came off the front. Pavlov and Watson have made it. Weiss is still back here. And we could have pushed this relay a little bit further up, but I decided I didn't need to because I don't think anyone's oh, well, actually someone does. That's my bad. I didn't think he had such a big move in him, but he's not going to be able to go any further than that, and we should be able to blitz him. Here is us doing just that because he hasn't even made it to the final 6 node. Oh. Or the race can just end immediately with us happy to let Carl Gross take it. Because that does mean we gain some time on Auber too. Not on Gross, who is going to take the yellow jersey at this point. No one at risk of finishing outside time limit this time. Anyway, this stage, Jonas Winter appears to be going after the green jersey, but with how late those are, I think this is way too early in attack. Especially with the peloton here trying to make it difficult, this would have been the natural move. Instead, they want to consume more energy to go just a little bit further. but it's plausible given that it would have been Grigorev at the front last turn. He did that specifically to make it hard for the peloton and give his teammate Winter a chance of reaching this green intermediate sprint. Wait, is the field really going to get collective bird brain and give us a chance to go off the fronts? Oh my gosh, they actually did it. They actually... Yeah, we're doing it. We're going. Winter's got a couple of old friends with him, and he's actually going to pull for us. Well, never mind. It was kind of a phony pull from Winter, and that's why he should have just latched onto Pavlov. Well, this is the tile I was targeting. It was a 6-6 for Pavlov, and yeah, the field isn't going to quite make it. I was going to say Winter in green, but if Watson wins the stage, no, because he'd have 5 points. We did attack at that point. It would actually be better for Pavlov to win the stage, actually, because he did a lot of the work to get us here, and it's going to be Watson claiming the overall spoils anyway. And that result's going to give us a useful head start on Orberg, who I think was going to be difficult to beat otherwise, because a lot of the climbs, or at least the ending climbs at this tour, are short enough that Orberg with his zero mountain can still get over them.